Hello again, I'm Dave Apsley. I'm a forester and a natural resources specialist with Ohio State University Extension. Today, I'm along an old fence row in a cemetery near the Hocking and Vinton County line, and I'd like to introduce you to Osage Orange. Some folks also may know this as hedge apple. Osage Orange is not native to Ohio. In fact, it's only native to a small area in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. But it was widely planted by early farmers here in Ohio, and it was used as a natural hedgerow along fences. The wood is very rot resistant, so it was used for fence posts, and the wood also produces very high BTU output. So when it's burned, it can produce lots of energy. The wood is very unique as well in that it's bright yellow in color. But how do I identify Osage Orange? First of all, Osage Orange is alternate, so leaves alternate sides of the twig. When we get on older twigs, you might find little spines or spurs, which we'll talk about in a bit, and you'll see these groupings of leaves. These are on fairly small or short spurs. They'll look like they're whorled, but in actuality, these spurs alternate sides of the twigs, and you might find multiple leaves that are on those little spurs. So again, the leaves are alternate. This twig is somewhat zigzag shaped as well. Leaves can be 2 to 5 inches in length. They're very shiny or glossy on the surface, and they have an entire or a smooth margin with no teeth. They'll also have a fairly long petiole. So again, fairly large, simple leaf, 2 to 5 inches in length, fairly long petiole, and a shiny, glossy surface that comes to a nice sharp tip. The twigs, as I mentioned, are somewhat zigzag. They can be a little green in color when they're immature, but later they'll turn a lighter grayish brown. And you'll also find these sharp spines. Spines are around a ½ inch in length. They don't branch, and they're very sharp and stout. What's really unique about this tree and where it gets its common name as hedge apple is this fruit. This tree is actually a relative of mulberry, so you've got this aggregate of drupes. So these individual little bumps are drupes, and each one of those can produce a seed. This fruit can be anywhere from about 4 to 5 inches in diameter. They're fairly heavy, kind of remind you of a softball. If you break into them, they produce a milky sap. They are somewhat edible by some wildlife. You'll see evidence of squirrels chewing on these and even deer chewing on them, but you rarely see the whole fruit get consumed. When we look along this fence row, you'll see several of these trees. They tend to be not very straight. They actually have a more rounded crown, and the branches kind of arch out, and the bark is kind of a yellowish or orangish brown in color, and you'll see these vertical streaks in it, somewhat interlacing. A lot of times it'll have a lot of dead lower branches, and most of the leaves are out here on the outer shell. So again, this is Osage Orange or hedge apple. The fruit is what most people recognize it by, but look for those short, stout spines along the twigs and the shiny, glossy leaves without teeth along the margin. Thanks so much for your time, and please take at least part of your day to enjoy it in the woods.